Did Qatar quietly help Iran crack some of America's deadliest weapons by opening a backdoor into U.S. combat technology? Washington sold top-secret systems to Doha, but did Tehran end up getting the keys to the vault through its close security ties with Qatar? With F-15s, Apaches, and Reaper drones downed in combat, are Qatar's dual-track deals with Iran and the U.S. now coming back to haunt Trump? Was Iran's wartime success against advanced U.S. platforms quietly powered by a tech leak from one of America's own Arab allies? A May 2026 congressional report described in detail how multiple U.S. aircraft were lost during Operation Epic Fury, sparking sharp debate in Washington over what went wrong. The reported losses intensified questions about Iran's capacity to counter advanced U.S. air platforms, including whether its air defenses or electronic warfare systems have improved more than expected. MEMRI's latest report has fueled debate over possible technology leakage from Qatar, citing similarities between past arms sales and military losses observed during Operation Epic Fury. Several of the aircraft lost in the conflict had export counterparts previously sold to Qatar, prompting renewed focus on how widely similar technologies have been shared in the region. These platforms included variants of the F-15QA fighter, the AH-64E Apache attack helicopter, and the MQ-9 family of remotely piloted drone systems, all central to U.S. and allied air operations. Pentagon threat assessments had long warned that exporting high-end systems overseas carried technology leakage risks, especially if partners faced espionage, cyber intrusions, or shifting political alignments. An AH-64E Apache was downed over the Strait of Hormuz on June 9, crashing into the sea off Oman. The helicopter went into the water off Oman, but both the pilot and the gunner were recovered alive. The Apache is Boeing's most advanced combat-proven attack helicopter currently in frontline service. In 2019, the United States approved a deal to sell 24 AH-64E Apache helicopters to Qatar. Qatar's Apache fleet was delivered with advanced systems on board, including some classified technology. U.S. officials warned that access to the helicopter's hardware or software could help hostile states learn to counter it. The Pentagon said Qatar could protect this sensitive technology at the security standards demanded by Washington. The Apache sale was presented as supporting U.S. foreign policy and national security by strengthening Qatar. Over 24 MQ-9 Reaper drones have been lost during Operation Epic Fury. Washington approved a $1.96 billion MQ-9B Skyguardian sale to Qatar in 2025. General Atomics and Qatar's Barzan Holdings signed a battle management software pact. Agreement focuses on developing advanced command and control software capabilities. Apaches sold to Qatar are equipped with MUMT networking technology. MUMT allows Apache crews to communicate with and control compatible drones. MQ-9 Reaper platforms are among the unmanned systems interoperable with MUMT. Sensitive MUMT technology could be exploited if compromised. Analysts warn access to MUMT networks could expose real-time drone data streams. MQ-4C Triton surveillance drone lost over Hormuz was also compatible with MUMT. The MQ-4C Triton is a high-end intelligence drone valued at roughly $240 million. Downed on March 2 during the Iran war, the jet marked a major escalation in the air campaign. It was the first confirmed loss of a U.S. F-15 to Iranian air defenses in combat. After the crash, Iran launched an intensive manhunt to capture the downed U.S. airman. A U.S. rescue mission reportedly penetrated Iranian territory and extracted the pilot. The F-15 is one of America's most advanced dual-role fighters, built for air-to-air and air-to-ground missions. Its electronic warfare suite is designed to let it operate in heavily defended, high-threat environments. Boeing developed the F-15QA Abable variant specifically and exclusively for Qatar's Air Force. U.S. officials warned that the F-15QA sale would involve transferring highly sensitive technologies. Pentagon documents cautioned that advanced adversaries could exploit leaked software data from the jet. Such access could be used to develop countermeasures against key U.S. aircraft capabilities. Washington still approved the sale, arguing the strategic benefits to U.S. interests outweighed leakage risks. Qatar and Iran signed a security cooperation agreement on March 9, 2010, formalizing joint work on shared security concerns. The pact focused on border security, maritime crime, terrorism, and drug smuggling between the two countries. Both sides agreed to respect each other's sovereignty and to avoid interfering in one another's internal affairs. Article 2 specifically called for sharing information on terrorist groups and their identified members. The agreement also provided for exchanges of security-related data, studies, and research between their agencies. Article 14 encouraged deeper cooperation through regular exchanges of experts and security specialists. Their security collaboration covered organized crime, terrorism, and other threats they defined as common risks. Separately, Iran designated U.S. CENTCOM as a terrorist organization under a law passed in 2019. Tehran's law labels support for CENTCOM as a terrorist act committed against the Iranian state. The designation covers any military, intelligence, technical, or logistical assistance provided to CENTCOM. The overlap between U.S. combat losses and platforms fielded by Qatar has fueled scrutiny of Doha's reliability as a partner, particularly as regional rivalries and proxy conflicts intensify. Critics argue that Qatar's parallel engagement and coordination with Iran raise doubts about its security commitments to the United States, and about how shared technology and intelligence are ultimately used. Donald Trump has floated a new ultimatum to Iran, even as negotiations appear to have reached a critical breakthrough. The U.S. president said military strikes against Iran could resume if the current nuclear talks ultimately collapse. Trump also suggested the United States could become what he described as the guardian of the Middle East. According to Trump, such an arrangement could potentially be tied to a share of the region's revenues. The remarks suggest the White House is continuing to keep both military and political options on the table. According to the New York Times, Trump's advisors expect a fresh round of negotiations to begin on June 19th. Switzerland is expected to host the next phase of U.S. Iran talks focused on Tehran's nuclear program. Despite recent progress, significant disagreements reportedly remain over Iran's nuclear activities and future commitments. Trump has repeatedly insisted that any final agreement must permanently prevent Iran from obtaining nuclear weapons. The New York Times report suggests Washington is actively preparing for either diplomatic breakthrough or renewed confrontation. On television, an aide to Apache declared that Iran had won the war after the peace deal. Iran is now looking toward implementation of the deal after more than 3 months of regional fire. Mujtaba appears set to test U.S. commitments as Tehran unveils what it calls an extremely important next step.
These very lengthy talks lasted perhaps more than 14 or 15 hours. During them, we presented the Islamic Republic of Iran's final amendments to the text, and naturally those amendments were reviewed, and the Islamabad Memorandum of Understanding was finalized. That is the first point regarding this process. For now, only the text of the Memorandum of Understanding has been finalized. The formal signing of the Islamabad Memorandum of Understanding will take place on Friday between the principal parties to the memorandum, with Switzerland being discussed as a venue. 2 immediate developments either have already occurred since last night, or must occur starting this morning and will occur. The first is the immediate and permanent end of the war and military operations on various fronts, including Lebanon. As you saw in the statement announced by the Prime Minister of Pakistan, it was explicitly stated that a permanent and immediate end to the war has been declared on all fronts, including Lebanon. The second development is that the President of the United States has announced his position regarding the lifting and termination of the naval blockade that the United States had imposed against the Islamic Republic of Iran. However, after the commitments of the Islamic Republic of Iran and the implementation of the other provisions of the Memorandum of Understanding, these will naturally take effect from Friday following the formal signing of the memorandum. This Memorandum of Understanding was not merely the result of a diplomatic initiative that produced this diplomatic achievement for the Islamic Republic of Iran. It was not solely the product of diplomatic efforts. Rather, it is indebted to our military achievements. It is indebted to the pure blood of the martyrs whom we lost in confronting the enemies of the system. The enemy that attacked the Islamic Republic of Iran in order to implement its malicious objectives suffered heavy defeats in all of its goals and strategies, while the Islamic Republic of Iran achieved remarkable victories in this war. The enemy itself was forced to request a ceasefire and negotiations, and now we are witnessing this draft understanding in which all of our positions, as well as the important issues we considered necessary, have been incorporated. We have no trust whatsoever in the enemy. Our trust is in our military power, our diplomatic strength, and the support and unity of our own people. For that reason, implementation of this memorandum is extremely important. We have specific plans to monitor the implementation of America's commitments under this Memorandum of Understanding, as well as in the second phase, when negotiations will be necessary in order to reach a final agreement. If such a final agreement is reached, naturally the important issue for us will be the implementation of its provisions. Any measures taken by the Islamic Republic of Iran regarding the commitment it accepts in the one or two areas that pertain to Iran will be aligned with, proportional to, and contingent upon the implementation of the other side's commitments. Wherever we observe shortcomings in the implementation of the other side's obligations, we will naturally take our own corresponding measures in response.